is a trying new makeup video. We haven't done one of these in a while. I've been caught up in the fracas of Sephora sale and all of that stuff, but I have such a random smattering of things and it's literally a full face. I actually kicked some products out because there's just too much, and they're all things that I think y'all will be excited to see in action. We have this new tinted sunscreen that is like not new anymore, but I really like it, from Thrive. I want to show y'all that. A while back I was shopping with Hindash and we both co-enabled each other to buy the really expensive Tom Ford concealer. I haven't used it very much and I haven't used it on camera, so we'll do that. I bought a bunch of new stuff from Vieve. I'm not gonna be using everything that I bought, but the main characters here are this eyeshadow quad, this eyeshadow crayon in the shade Mahogany, and then we have the Sunset Blush Balm in Rosa. I know that I already did a quick and dirty review on the Patrick Todd duos for y'all in my Sephora sale video so that you could just, you know, get the information that you needed, but I mean, I have them. Why not use one you haven't seen yet? So today we're going to be using Talk to My Team, the one that's virtually invisible, but we shall test that. Oh, I have some LH Cosmetics stuff. I have a beautiful eyeliner from her and some other stuff that she sent, but I have the new lipstick from Lisa Eldridge. I'm expecting all of them. When the event was over, before we got off of the train, we were given these little, like, almost like sushi menus where we could check off all the lip products that we didn't have in our collections, and her team came by and they were like, you can tick all the boxes if you want, you know? And so we all did, because there are a lot of things that I don't have from her collection, a lot of shades and stuff, and it included all of the shades of this. So this is her new Rouge Experience lipstick, and we will talk all about it and all about the event and everything. But I have this in the shade Lisa here, and this is what is driving the color story for the entire look. It's gonna be a very pink, neutral to cool color story, and this will end up on my lips. It might even end up on my cheeks. That is the plan. I haven't put it all on at the same time yet, but I did do a color story on my hands swatching them, and I think it makes sense, so let's go ahead and jump in. Also, I need to catch up with y'all. I'm going to start here with this. This is the Daily Defender Mineral Sunscreen Broad Spectrum SPF 50 from Thrive, bigger than beauty. This is Thrive's skincare line, and so this is technically just a tinted sunscreen. It's not supposed to be makeup, but it does come in shades. This is light, and I think it's 3 shades. Sorry, someone's leaf blowing. Leave the leaves. It reminds me a lot, actually, of the one that I'm obsessed with. As an influencer, I reserve the right to say that I'm obsessed with some things. But y'all know I couldn't shut up about the In Beauty Project tinted sunscreen, and this does remind me a little bit of it. It's a little bit more pigment, and the shades make it so that like this is actually a closer match to my skin, so you're getting a little bit more of like a blurred, perfected look by combination of those things. All that means is that it's not acting as any kind of golden tan. So I really like it. I want to put a little bit more on. I already have regular sunscreen on, but I want to see how we can layer this up on my sunny spots. My skin, even though I'm on my period, my skin is incredible right now. This is my fault, but I've been using the growth factor serum that I finally got my freaking hands on from Allies of Skin. Every time that they have asked, I've been like, yes, can I get the growth factor serum? And they're like, it's sold out. I finally caught them at a moment where they were like, can we restock you on anything? And I was like, I would really like to try the growth factor serum, and I'm so glad that I did. It is so worth the wait. It is like the first time that I've used an active on my skin that is doing anti-aging, lifting, brightening benefits without any kind of purge. It's just amazing, and it doesn't dry my skin out. That's the biggest thing, is like, especially this time of year in this hemisphere, when you have super dry skin anyway and you try to use something that has like a brightening, cell turnover sort of active in it, like a retinoid, it's not just that your skin will purge, it's not just that your skin will peel, it's that it puts it so far in a moisture deficit, like your moisture barrier just gets destroyed every single time. And like, that's just such a recipe to bring back my perioral dermatitis, that this has become the only active I really want to use, because I wake up and my skin is still hydrated in the morning. It doesn't feel like I'm having to like compensate with a bunch of stuff. So that has been lovely. If you're new here, this is how these videos typically go. I'm just a chatterbox through them. A lot of my videos have been a little bit more planned and more curriculum based, but when we try new makeup, they are not first impressions. I'm not sitting here going, oh, what is this? You know what I mean? Opening it on camera and stuff and being like, here's the packaging. Like, we just catch up and I tell you about this stuff because I've been using it for a while. Now we're gonna use the Tom Ford concealer. I got this in the shade 0W0 Uwu, and I think I just, Maybe we try a brush. I just don't want to smear something directly onto my face. This isn't like the balmiest thing in the world. His foundation stick that was discontinued is balmier than this. So I just kind of don't want to unnecessarily drag anything on my skin. I also don't want to apply too much freaking product. So we need to catch up because wow, what a last week was. And I'm not even really talking about the election. I am talking about like Scorpio season and just how the cosmos are personally victimizing every single one of us in a very specific way. All different ways, but very specific ways each. We get it, there are leaves where you don't want them. So last week, regardless of the stupid election, was just an incredibly stressful time for me. It has made for a lot of life change, a lot of things that I'm not sure like how they're gonna pan out, a lot of uncertainty, and that feels like crap. I hate uncertainty and I'm incredibly impatient. Who else is like that? Anybody? We're all like that, you know? None of us is out here being like, you know what I like? Not having answers. This is beautiful, by the way. And I know that if Natalie's watching this, my skintress, my bestie, she's gonna be like, why aren't you telling them that I told you about this? She didn't actually tell me about this, but she does talk about it all the time because she loves it. So, you know, credit goes to Natalie on this one. It is worth the money. It's so pretty. Look at it. It's so pretty. I'm gonna just do some contour and bronze. This is not gonna be new. I'm gonna go in with the DIOR and I think Gucci? We'll see what my hand reaches for when the time comes. Using this bad boy. This is the F43 soft angled cheek brush from Sigma. So I got real burnout because I was doing great. I don't know if y'all saw at the end of October, I did my October Instagram post and I was like, look, you know, I was proactive. I got my doctor to change my antidepressants in anticipation of seasonal affective disorder. And I have been making a lot of necessary changes in my house, making sure that like the rooms are warm, which makes a huge difference. Making sure that like the lighting feels pleasant, which makes a huge difference. Putting humidifiers in just so that everything doesn't like make me feel paralyzed. I know that everyone gets paralyzed when it's cold, but you get paralyzed on like every single level of your existence when you have ADHD and it's cold. Like you can't change tasks. You can't start a task. You can't move. It's so paralyzing, like mentally paralyzing and exhausting. And so looking out the window over this weekend, and it was just, I mean, Saturday was fine. All it took was Sunday being gray and we got outside. We went to the playground. We played with his friends. You know what I mean? Like it was him being my son. It should have been a recipe for keeping myself buoyed for at least a day while it was absolute hot garbage outside. No, nope. All of my proactive actions that I had taken were for absolutely nothing. I was dragging ass through every single section of my day, every moment, forcing myself to freaking eat, hating every second of it, and feeling like crap the whole time about it because, you know, I'm with my kid and I'm trying to be present. And I was just like, I mean, anytime I sat still, it was like it took energy to blink. I felt like I had mono, you know? If you've ever had mono, you know, it's just like, the idea of opening a new tab on your browser is like enough to make you want to go to sleep. Mono is brutal. I guess I'll powder a little bit and then we'll bronze. So I sent Simon off to school today. And I am like, okay, you know, there's only so much of this I can take. And there are ways that I know in the past I have pulled myself out of things like this. And obviously, upping my medication is not going to help because we tried that, okay? We're already kind of at the top right now. I need to do something else. I need to have a little bit more, I don't know, personal discipline of some kind. And so I did the first thing that I knew I needed to do, and that was sleep, okay? I was sitting there scrolling on my phone, wanting to die, and I was like, I need to go to sleep. I just need to go to sleep, and I did. And so I went upstairs to my bed, just dragged my sad, bedraggled butt up there and went to sleep for 2 hours, totally fine. And then I woke up and the sun was shining through my window and I was like, oh, God bless, maybe I'm gonna live. And I was like, all right, I know what's wrong. I know what's wrong. And I'm going to tell you. It's called dopamine addiction, okay? And it's what happens to me and probably a lot of people when we are overstimulated. It's not even our fault necessarily. I think that a lot of these like, oh, come back is like a rebranded human being, do our dopamine detox, beer to beer to beer, like all those stupid ads that you get on Instagram for that crap. Like you don't need that. It's not because you're addicted to TikTok. It's not because you are addicted to doom scrolling. It might be. But what it also is the fact that like our brains are not meant to take in information as quickly as it is being thrown at us most of the time against our freaking will. That's the Gucci bronzer. That level of stimulation coming through what I consider to be, I'm obviously not any kind of scientist, but like it's one part of your brain. It's one section of your brain. And so you start to, that like muscle gets hot. This is my opinion. I have no idea if this is true. This is just like how I kind of feel it in my brain. The kind of muscles in your brain doesn't have muscles, get hot around absorbing information through that one part of your brain, and then they just kind of stay there. I feel like they get stuck. You forget how to do things that are a little bit harder, just a little bit harder. So I woke up from this nap and I decided like step one, I need to make a list of all of the things that feel like they're a little bit too hard, because those are probably the things that I need to be doing instead of seeking dopamine hits, because that's what you end up doing even when it's bad news. Even when it's things that were like inflicted upon you against your will, it's still kind of this weird, shocking, hormonal overstimulation that becomes kind of addictive, even just to your body, not even to your mind. And I don't think that that needs like scientific proof. I think that all of us could be like, yes, that happens to me. You know? I'm going to start in with the Vieve Sunset Blush Balm here, the luminous liquid blush. We might go in with other things. I'm thinking that the LYS in Focused is gonna be a really good combo here with the lipstick, but we'll play it by ear. So this is really beautiful. It's just a serum blush. It's easy to use. It's a really great amount of pigment. The thing that I think is a little bit unusual is that there are colors that you would expect, right? You know, so there's like a peach and a pink and like a red and stuff like that. This is called Rosa, and I would have expected it to be pinker. It is quite peach for a pink. Just bear that in mind. So I really like it, but for example, like here is Say Cutie, which is like what I consider to be an ideal muted peachy coral, and they're so similar. Do you see that? So Rosa is already pretty peach, and that means that like the peachy one is gonna be pretty darn like the dreamsicle orange. And then there is one called Cherub, and Cherub is very pink. That is what I didn't know at the time. Anyway, this is gorgeous. I have been very, very impressed by everything from Vieve so far. And those are the ones that I kind of out of necessity had to kick out because I have so many other things that I bought from her that I really like, but it's like, I wanted to include other things than just Vieve Beauty in this video. Oh my God, that's so pretty. So I made this list and I was like, okay, things that are too hard for me to do. Reading sounds terrible. Reading sounds like homework, but it's probably the kind of discipline that my brain needs. Cooking a meal for myself that is actually healthy and takes more than 10 minutes, it sounds awful, but it's probably something that would be really healthy for my mind. And also, like, you know, there's the benefit of putting quality food in your body as well. I do a good job of that usually because I have a lot of my meals sort of automated, like smoothies and things like that for filling in my nutritional gaps. But oh my God, between the Thrive and that, it's like, the texture in real life is awesome. I made this list of things and I started to realize that it was aligned with, you can take it either way, the chakras or Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Starts with grounding needs, and then it comes with like creative needs, and then it goes to like challenging yourself, and then it goes to like your heart and like community, and then there's like speaking up for yourself, being able to articulate yourself, and then you get into kind of the like intuitive, you know, psychic satisfaction, things like that. Regardless of whether you want to go spiritual or scientific, it is a hierarchy of what helps us as human beings, like our needs of existence. And I was like, all right, I am recognizing the things that I am writing down on this list as things that feel too challenging for me to do because I have a baseline energy level of negative right now that I need to start over at the beginning, at the bottom of the pyramid, and just consciously take actions. Like we're gonna do grounding meditations. We're gonna, you know what I mean? And then we'll concentrate on the sacral chakra, try and get some creative rest, expose myself to new things. So I'm gonna put a pause on that for a second because I wanna talk real quick about the two Vieve products that we're gonna work with here on my eyes. I went ahead and bought her eyeshadow crayon because I was hoping it would be good. I wanted to know, but also this color is awesome. This is Mahogany, and y'all know I love the Laura Mercier in Cinnamon. So let me swatch that against this because this one's a little bit purpler by comparison. You'll be surprised. I think I'm gonna use both, but it's awesome because if you're like me and you're familiar with my challenges, I'm sorry, did I say Laura Mercier? I meant Bobbi Brown. If you're familiar with my challenges around my eyes, like, yes, I have a yellow undertone underneath here, but my eyes, like the skin is so thin, you see so much of my veins that everything wants to turn gray on me unless it's like I overcompensate with warmth. And so I need browns that are quite warm in order to even appear brown instead of going sooty. And so that's why I love cinnamon. But as you can see, cinnamon is much browner. Like this starts to, whoopsies, this starts to look almost deep purple. And that's awesome because that's going to be a phenomenal accentuation shade for depth in my crease. And it, I feel like, works really beautifully with this. So we'll use both. I'm gonna try not to get too dramatic here, but we're using a lot of eye products, so it might get dramatic. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe I'll look really pretty by the end of this. So bearing all of that in mind, right? I also needed to take out some of the instant, I need to find a brush before I start doing this. Is it you? Yes. Okay, we're gonna go with the Singe EO4. I was like, I need to eliminate a lot of the instant gratification shortcuts, dopamine hit shortcuts, like that are programmed to be that way, but often are just negative, just time sucks. I need to eliminate those. And so the first thing I did was delete Instagram off of my phone. I don't really have any other apps that absorb a lot of my time in a totally, like, I don't really know what to call it. It's like an engaged, disengaged kind of way. And I think that that's what TikTok does, because you have to actively participate in TikTok. You can't put it on in the back. Oops, that like already dried down. You can't like put it on in the background while you do dishes the way that you can YouTube. Like I'll watch Sad Boys and I don't feel like it takes anything out of me to listen to Sad Boys. Like I don't feel like that's draining my life force. Whereas there's something about looking at sad memes and, you know, even things that are making light of certain situations, which I think laughter is very healing. After a while, Instagram starts to be unhealthy. My memes have been a little bit, well, they've been many, and they've been a little bit bleak lately just because this past week was just, it was just really hard to find the glimmers, okay? It was hard to find the upsides in a lot of things. And I think that it's also like the enemy of dopamine addiction is nuance. And vice versa, because it's like, I think that that's really what's wrong in a lot of the conversations online, is that everybody wants to have something hit in a really pure way. It's not just, oh, I'm in black and white thinking. It's like people really want to be able to like latch onto a thought and it like make pure sense to them, because so little in this world makes pure sense that we like to like reduce things down to, you know, a little bit too oversimplified of an essence. And to bring nuance back into the conversation takes so much more mental effort, but it also exercises so much more of your brain. And that is where I need to be right now, is like, I need diversity of stimulation. I need other types of information, or lack thereof, entering my space, entering my brain. And it's a detox, because what you're doing is you're saying, I literally, it like hurts my soul to look at an illuminated screen right now. Like I just can't do it. It's like when you've like treated yourself too much and like sugar sounds awful, or like you bought a bunch of stuff and you're like, wow, I'm excited about this, and then like the thought of pulling your credit card out makes you want to die. Honestly, it's adrenal fatigue at the hands of dopamine, like, because your adrenal glands are what's, you know, cycling your hormones, right? That's your adrenal system, right? Adrenal. I'm not a scientist. I did not do well in science classes, but adrenal fatigue to me is very much just about like wearing out certain types of like stimulation in your brain. Like you're just doing too much of one kind, and it's like the short-term gratification one, and it's just exhausting because you're just like this all the time. And then what happens is your tolerance gets built up so high that kind of nothing will do that for you anymore, and then reality becomes very disappointing. And I think that that's also why people do like slow living and stuff like that. It's like starting to reintroduce different speeds of media intake or stimulation intake, or literally lack thereof. Just like total dissociation can be very healthy. Thank God it's sunny outside. I just went no device, no anything with my smoothie out back earlier and just sat there and like stared at the leaves. I was just like, I gotta detox my brain. It's just too much because you really start to feel it. You start to feel this just like total physical exhaustion that is on a different level. It's not just tired. And people say that there's what, like 7 or 9 types of rest or something. There's got to be some kind of like adrenal rest. And honestly, maybe what it is a combination of all the rests combined, because I literally need to, like I said, start over at the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy of needs and like rebuild myself. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, those are those two. I like them. I think they're pretty. And now we're going to go in with this gorgeous quad. I'm probably not going to touch this gold right here. I don't want to get too warm. I want to stay in this territory, and then also the Patrick Ta duo is kind of in that territory. So if we can even see it. Shade, 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 so much shade. So automatically I'm feeling more buoyed. I'm starting with this like light beige here, putting that on my lid, filling in kind of like the gaps a little bit, but what a pretty like satin texture on the eyes. Even though it's a matte, it still has a beautiful blurring quality to it that doesn't look dusty, you know, or dry. So anyway, I am making a lot of conscious decisions to not expose myself to screens unless I have to. I'm gonna let myself play video games in like the evenings and stuff, because to me that is like, it's engaging. It's not something that I feel like is a dopamine hit. It's fun, but it's not a dopamine hit. I might as well be not reading a book, but like it feels like I'm doing a puzzle, and I love doing puzzles. And I don't do it that much. Like I'm not a person who can just sit there and play a video game all day. Like I said, even watching something on YouTube that I feel like is educational doesn't feel like a dopamine hit. And I don't mean educational like I'm, you know, SciShow. I just, even like a commentary video or something where I just feel like somebody isn't screaming at me. Like everything is freaking screaming at us right now. I'm going to go and I'm going to take the leaf flower out of this person's hand and I'm just going to beat them with it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a person who does a lot of rules. I don't like a lot of like structure in general, but this is something where it's not so much about, I hate like morning routines. Like you'll never catch me doing a morning routine. I think that they're unhealthy for me because my brain doesn't need absolutes. It will glom onto absolutes because it really likes extremes, and I will go too far. Like I can't have any kind of like a, you know, a health app, like monitoring my steps or a Fitbit or something. I cannot gamify my life because my brain goes absolutely bananas on it. It just can't stop. And so I have to just take each situation as it comes and think critically about it. Like, how is this gonna make me feel? And in a lot of cases, I already knew. And like I said, you know, when I saw the symptoms that I was having and like the fatigue that it came on so quick, it took me a second to like figure out what the heck was going on. But you know, I was like, I've felt like this before and I know what it is, and it is the disappointment of reality when you have adrenal fatigue due to dopamine addiction, dopamine dependency, and that is what I am deconstructing actively right now. We're gonna go in with this one. These two are very different from each other, and I feel like in a quad, what Jamie Genevieve was like thinking was like, if those two are neutrals, the mattes, you can go either direction with this. I mean, you could combine them, obviously, and get something just right there, kind of combo in the middle, but I don't think that a look that I would do would put both. It's like I wanna go in one direction or the other, and today we're gonna go in that kind of cooler direction, I think. See where we land? Yeah, that's pretty. And I am excited to reap the rewards of it. I have so many books that I want to read right now. Like just, and I don't really read a lot of fiction. That's another thing that it just, I don't know. Maybe I need to like get into, I think all these people who are reading fiction are actually just, you know, waiting for everybody in the book to have sex with each other, which I did not realize until like, you know, I saw a few memes about it. I was like, oh, that would make reading more interesting. But I personally really like just like learning about my brain, which is a lot less sexy, but nonetheless, I have a bunch of like quote unquote self-help, but like, you know, nonfiction and honestly like spirituality kind of books that like help me get centered and stuff that people who I really admire have recommended that I've been meaning to read. And so I think that that's something that I'm gonna do. That's just beautiful. That is just beautiful. Wow, 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 wow. Look at that. I'm gonna use a bit of Moonstone from Bobbi Brown on the inner corner because it's one of my absolute favorite inner corner shades. Aber, so pretty and sporkly. And then we're gonna go in with this Patrick Ta. So here is our Patrick Ta duo in Talk to My Team. And I really thought that the pink was gonna be more pink. On camera, it does look pink. On the back of my hand, it looks gold, which is weird. Those kinds of shifts are strange. Look at that. So, God, and can I get the gold? It looks so gold. It looks only gold in real life. And then there's this one, which is virtually invisible. So let's use both. You know, if it goes a little too gold, it goes a little too gold. I'll do that on the lid, just very gently. But I am fairly, whelmed with this as a general release. It's very meh to me, mainly because I feel like he didn't pick a lane. I do not like that. I wish I hadn't done that. Here's the kind of like lighter one. Again, kind of invisible after I've put all that other stuff on. It's fine. He didn't pick a lane in terms of texture. Like each one is different. And I feel like in an industry where we're shopping online so much, don't do that. The Hypnotizing Pop Shots from Charlotte Tilbury are all the same texture. I hate that pink that I just put on. It is so cloying. Ugh. So if you're new to my channel, I have an extraordinarily annoyingly sensitive eye for color. And so that pink was offensive to me, like in a way that I can feel my skeleton. So I'm going back in with a Jamie Genevieve. Screw Patrick Ta in this situation. The gold is the only one that I have that I think is worth it. $42. I mean, yes, there is something to be said for a luxury eyeshadow. I don't think these are worth $42. They're not that good. Oh my God! How many leaves could there be? What are you, like the neighborhood leaf blower? I look out there, it's like some sweet old man. I'm just like, oh. Sorry. I'm imagining some evil man just like cackling, like, ah ha ha, ruined her video. Everything's about me. All right, we're doing a little bit of damage control here because I did not like the Patrick Ta. Like I said, I swatched them all on the back of my hand. I thought that those were going to be fairly harmless, but I think that they made everything worse. And I hate that color of pink that it was shifting. I hate it. There's that. Let's do my eyeliner, shall we? Who are you? I need a face to my annoyance. Where are you? Why are you are you in front of my house? I don't want you to blow my leaves. Leave me alone. I'm gonna do my eyeliner. This is this eyeliner that LH Cosmetics just sent me. I think that this is kind of a new release of shades. It's not a new release of a formula because I do love her crayon formula. It's like a use everywhere, depending on, you know, where you want to put a color on your face kind of formula. They're really beautiful, and this color is new, I think. So it is called Saiph, S-A-I-P-H, and it's sort of this olive brown, and it's a little bit sparkly. Let's find out. My hair is kind of olive brown, so maybe it'll go with my eyebrows, you know? My skin is not olive, but my hair has a lot of green in it. Like my hair, look, it's like the same color as my hair. LH Cosmetics, Linda Hallberg, I will say, I wish someone would like fund the crap out of her brand because she has such great ideas. God, that's a great freaking pencil formula. It blends so easily. By blends, I mean it spreads, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get a nice line out of it. That's gorgeous. Look at that color. You can really not really see it. It's like I get too close to the light. There we go. It blends directly into my eyelashes because it is truly like the color of my hair. What a fun thing. Oh my God, it's like my brain can think. Okay, we're going to do my brows and my mascara, and then we'll come back and address the rest of my face. Of course, now that the leaf blower has stopped leaf blowing. Of course. It looks really splotchy on camera right here, but it's really nice and smooth looking in real life, so you're just gonna have to trust me. So let's do a little bit of blush here with LYS. I think that that's gonna look really lovely. And then we will do my lips, and I will talk all about the things that happened on the train in London. We went to Hogwarts. We did not go to Hogwarts. This is LYS Focused, one of the prettiest, most ambiguous, pinky, shimmery, blushy things ever. I love it. And it really goes with the eye look a lot. COLÉ sent over some great things, among them one of their lip oils in actual clear, which I should have put on before all of this, but oh, it smells like vanilla. This stuff is great. I can never have enough of their lip oils, but for them to just send clear, God bless them. God bless them. I'm gonna use that all the way up. Okay. So this is the Rouge Experience from Lisa Eldridge. Does she have a lot of lipstick formulas already? Yes. What's different about this one? This is very blurring and it's kind of halfway in between a full color cream lipstick and something that is more of like a tinted balm. Really easy to wear. It comes in a bunch of obviously gorgeous shades, and mine was supposed to be monogrammed. It is monogrammed, but I accidentally swapped with Alex. I mean, not accidentally, we just didn't know they were monogrammed, and then hers wasn't monogrammed, and it's just like a whole thing. And so she has the one with my initials on it, and then I was like, I don't have one with your initials on it. We don't know what happened. But either way, she ended up with Ribbon because she loves red, and then I ended up with Lisa, which what we should have done is just switch out the cartridge. You doy. So anyway, the main thing besides this being obviously incredibly gorgeous, Lisa is a student. It seems like a lifelong student really of like makeup history. And this is such an homage to back when makeup components were not disposable the way that they are now. This thing weighs a ton. It feels like a forever item, and it is. It's a forever item in the sense that obviously, you know, this is replaceable, but also, she did something that may seem like it's not a big deal, but think about this, okay? This is the way that Lisa Eldridge functions. She does not take no for an answer. She gets an idea and she's like, there's no point in doing it if I'm not gonna do it right, okay? You're not gonna make me back off and like shave all the corners off of my idea until it ends up being the same as everything else. She's like, I don't care how long it takes. We're gonna figure it out and we're gonna do something that's new. And the idea of this took a lot of execution, a lot of trials, and a lot of her just digging her heels in because the manufacturer was like, me can't do that. She wanted an inner cartridge that was entirely recyclable. She wanted it to be entirely aluminum. I feel like I owe it to her to pronounce it that way because that's how she says it. So when you usually have these sorts of things, they have, let's see. So even this is the DIOR contour, and the little stick, it actually functions all on its own, which is kind of cool, but I mean, that is plastic, right? And it snaps into this little component right here. And they told her it is either going to be a piece of plastic or a magnet or both. You're going to have to use one or the other in order to make a component that has a replaceable cartridge in it. And she was like, no. We didn't always have magnets and plastic in our makeup components, so why did we like decide that that was the only way to do it? And so this is truly the first of its kind component where you can literally, when you're done with this, clean it out and throw it in the recycler because it's just made out of aluminum. And she did say in her video that if you are, I think it's specifically in Britain, but I'm not sure. If you really want to make sure that it doesn't like fall through the conveyor at the recycling place, you can take a like cleaned off piece of aluminum foil and wrap this up in a ball and make sure, because I mean, how often are you going to finish one of these? It's not that much effort. And just make sure that it like gets into the recycling compactor machine thing, because of all of the lies that we have been told about what recycles our entire lives and like, it's in your hands. Make sure you leave the lid on your plastic bottle because that's going to make the difference. Shut up, Pepsi. You know it doesn't matter. We were always just selling all of our stuff to other countries. It was never actually a recycling program, but you know what actually is? Aluminum. Aluminum actually recycles. And so that it's even better than glass in that sense. So this is truly a no waste at the end of the day, concept, execution, entire piece of makeup. So you can buy the individual cartridges that go inside. Does the component function. Yes, the component still functions when it's outside, or the cartridge still functions when it's outside of the component, which I think is interesting because the House of Sillage ones don't. It's almost like it's prohibitive. They're like, we're gonna make you pay $200 for our lipstick case so that you can even use our lipsticks. And this one, I mean, obviously you're not gonna do that, but like you also don't have to pay this like wild overhead just to be able to use it. And you can swap them out, whichever one you're going to like bring with you each day, whatever. But the idea being that this is a forever component. So let's freaking put it on, Khaki. Good grief, shut up. Just kidding. So that's Lisa. It is a beautiful, like neutral to cool, like rosy pink. It works beautifully on me. It is really the way that I wear pink the best because it is not that like insipid kind of like Barbie pink. The event itself was incredible. It's so funny. I was in Alex's vlog and I saw some people comment, they're like, wow, Khaki looked so annoyed when there was like this trio of these beautiful women singing on board and like harmonizing, and you know, it was beautiful. Like Khaki looks so annoyed. And Alex is like, Khaki flew in that morning and flew out the next morning. Like I was impressed that she was upright. And I was like, thank you so much for defending my integrity. Not that anybody had like malice. They thought it was funny, but at the same time, like,
see how I do my makeup for work. Very mindful. Very DIOR. It's 1 a.m. my time, and I have to be at an event in 4 hours.
like I got off the plane and was just like, ah! And then like I got back and all I did was sleep. I did not get to actually spend any time in London because of my own personal schedule. I'm so glad that I went. It was so incredible and lovely, but like delirious doesn't begin.
She's studying it. Éclat.
Oh, look at that. It is honestly such an ideal lipstick formula. To me, this is like what I think of when I think of a lipstick. I just think of it being kind of medium creamy, medium pigment, easy to wear, but also it's like, don't dismiss the innovation that went into the formula because the formula is so blurring. Who doesn't want blur on their lips, you know? Oh. Because blur, I feel like, is one of those things that it ends up being called out as a feature in formulas so much. It ends up being like the Bisou balm from Vieve, where it's all blur. There are other ones like that too. Even like the lip soufflés and stuff like that from like Rare Beauty, they're so silicone-y that it feels like they don't actually like bond to your lips. I want some grip, and when they don't grip at all, you're just like, okay, but like it's just gonna wear off in 2 seconds because it feels like this just kind of like hovering layer. So this is everything all in one, in the sense that it's got a really even amount of pigment, but when you go to sort of like feather the edges or something, it's even. It's not over pigmented. It's not like spreading all over my face, which is something I'm very self-conscious of when it comes to a lipstick, and so you can wear it at a lot of different opacity levels, but it's not that like surreal lightness of like a super silicone-y formula. It probably has silicone in it, but it's not like super silicone-y. It's not like a pure dimethicone or something like some of them. Some of them just feel like primers. So it is a little bit pink for this look. So I said, you know, we're probably gonna end up putting a little bit of it on my cheeks, and I think that that is the game plan here. So yes, in all of that team's incredible generosity, you know, not just in bringing us there and putting on this absolutely flawless event, and I got to hang out with Lisa so much. It was awesome. Like, she's just so cool to talk to. She and I just have, I feel like, I mean, first of all, she's like the easiest person to talk. She's so chill and unpretentious, and not that I like, you know, would have expected her to be pretentious. She doesn't seem pretentious in her videos or anything like that, but like, you meet your heroes, and this is the second time that I've met her, but like, you meet your heroes and you would be grateful even if they were like really aloof and busy the whole time, but she made time for everybody. I really feel like she and her amazing team designed the event around people getting to be together, and for Lisa to have enough time to actually be with the people that she brought on the trip. She didn't want it to just be some event that she threw. I mean, she was just so much fun. And she's so smart, and she's so, like I said, like uncompromising, but in a really like calm, cool, like confident way. She's so uncompromising about the quality of her product, and that passion is just so effortless. It seems like it just, you know, is so like part of her. She just sort of like effervesces that kind of passion for her products. So I was very extremely honored to, God, I mean, the nature with which I arrived there. I'm glad that I, again, stayed upright, but it was just such a good experience. I'm so glad that I did it. I'm so glad that they were willing to work with me and kind of, you know, move mountains to make sure that the schedule, they didn't change anything in the schedule, but like they had to work with me on flights and stuff because it was just like my schedule was so tight. And honestly, like so cool to get to meet all the creators that were on the trip too. I didn't get to meet everybody, but I got to spend a lot of time with some people. So, and there was like an amazing like tarot reader on board. She was just like the sweetest. It was just great. It was lovely. I need a little bit of the Dolce & Gabbana. This is an experiment. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but let's see. That's nice. Dolce & Gabbana bronzer underneath the eye the way that I would with my, yes, with my Victoria Beckham. That's quite lovely. So I'm excited to get all of the colors of the lipstick, and I will definitely make a video either on my Instagram or over here swatching all of them for you. And what was awesome was that I wore these like corduroy pink pants on the trip, and this color was a perfect match for it. It looked like I planned it. So let's do final thoughts on all of the products that we just tried today. I don't feel like we spent enough time here. It really gets my full stamp of approval. I consider this to be interchangeable with the In Beauty project. Obviously, this is the mineral sunscreen tinted barrier power boost water resistant 80 minutes from Bigger Than Beauty. Thrive skincare brand. And this is right up there with the In Beauty project. It just has less bronziness to it. It is more of like a skin tone oriented shade range. The Tom Ford concealer on an entirely other end of the cost spectrum, but like, wow. The Vieve, I do think that at some point we will end up doing like a full face of Vieve, even if it's just on my Instagram, because I have like pretty much a full face of her stuff now, and I'm so impressed by it. Even if some of it isn't like, this is the most innovative formula in the world. She's just done kind of like what Allie Glines does, where she just takes products that she likes using and she makes an exquisite version of them, and that is what we have here. Her eyeshadow quad, I feel like, is very well informed. This is a lovely color story where she has made it very easy to balance warmth and coolness. I don't feel like I need to reach for another color here, which is interesting. Like, I feel like for brightness, I can use my face powder or something like that, but I don't need a white in here. This is a really great palette, even for like a fair skin tone. And the eyeshadow crayon is really lovely. It's just really lovely. It's a little bit, I feel like, even grippier and less slippy than the Bobbi Brown, but I find them equally easy to use. And the color is just incredible. The Patrick Ta continues to disappoint. Like, what a flat release. I'm so sorry. I will never be on their PR list. I'm way too critical, but like, I loved his foundation. I thought it was really nice, but like, these are just so weird. They're so weird. Like, I love this one, the gold one. Not that I've never experienced anything like this before, but I like it. And then this one is just so different. It has nothing to do, they're not even close to the same idea. They're completely different formulas. They don't do the same thing. If you were excited because you liked one and then you buy another one, it's like you got the same pair of pants and they're not the same pair of pants. What was the point? You know, what was the point? So it's like, not, you don't want to collect these, because if you like one, that doesn't mean you're gonna like any of the other ones. What's the point? You know? Don't try and be everything to everyone. Pick something, you know? It's kind of like the YSL quads. Does everyone need a YSL quad? Yes. Not my point, but like, do I need all of the YSL quads? Yes. Also, because the formula is so lovely and they're all the same idea in terms of formula and the same idea in terms of like light and depth and different textures. And so it's fun to have more than one of them, because then they all represent different ideas and you can get the same thing out of different ones for different color stories. Whereas like those, you don't know what you're getting. They aren't the same product. I could review each one of them separately because they're not the same product. Pick a struggle. The eyeliner from LH Cosmetics is gorgeous. I really think that's a special color. If you are either like you have hair, my color, this kind of funny in-betweeny greeny, or if you are olive complected, lovely, lovely color, because it's just got that, it's got a hint, just a hint of olive to it. It isn't green. I feel like there was always like, oh, olive undertones, you should wear emerald green eyeliner. You can, but it's not gonna give the illusion of thicker eyelashes because your eyelashes aren't green. I wouldn't recommend this necessarily if you're trying to match black eyelashes. You probably don't wonder where the eyeliner exists in the market for you. If you have black eyelashes, you're like, they all work for me because everyone makes a black. This is such a unique color that I feel like needed to exist. I wouldn't put it in my eyebrows, that would be insane. But it's just a lovely formula. It's got a little bit of shimmer to it and it really matches the rest of my hair. So I enjoy that. I think that's it. Other than the Lisa Eldridge lipstick, again, I will be following up with y'all when I get all the shades so that I can wear them all for you and show them to you. But what a remarkable innovation. I'm so glad that I got to experience the Rouge Experience. And I am excited to see what comes next out of the mind of Lisa Eldridge, because once you understand the inspiration and the motivation and the education, the knowledge that goes into the decisions of making all of her products, when there's that much passion put into something, I want to see it all. I want to touch it all. I want to own it all and use it all. So this is lovely. I mean, it's like this, look at it. Look at this thing. Look, you can't, that's not because it's blown out. That's because I use this so much. I have like rubbed the label off of it. Okay. Like I will never be without the Lisa Eldridge skin tint ever. I just think that she does great innovative things. I can't explain this. I have yet to hear someone be disappointed by it. Other than maybe they can't find their shade in it, which I'm sure that she will expand it because she's very good with those kinds of things. But like this is, so that's the vibe. That's the energy. I hope y'all enjoyed this today. And let me know in the comments how y'all are doing. If you also are feeling kind of adrenal fatigue, I'm optimistic. I'm looking forward to this detox that I'm starting because I think that it is the only way out of feeling like I absolutely need rest on every level of existence because my synapses are fried. That's how I feel. When I was journaling, I wrote, my circuits are overloaded. Like I've just blown out all of my circuits. That's what has happened. I'm just entirely overstimulated in one particular area of my brain. And it's like, I want to turn that one off and let everybody else cook for a little while. So I love y'all. I appreciate you for being here. If you enjoyed this, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you're new and you like my personality, subscribe to my sparkling personality. I will put a video up here that I think you'll enjoy if you liked this one. And I love y'all so much. Thank you for being here and I will see you in the next one.